Well, hey guys, it is day 8 of SSSVEDA. If that sounds like Greek to you, check out the link below. It'll take you to SavvySexySocial.com to learn more about it. Just because it has the word sexy in it does not mean it is a porn site. It is a marketing, PR, social media, video, vlogging type of informational site. So go check it out, run by a cool chick named Amy. And she's put this on, vlogging every day in April for a while now. So this is my first time doing it. Never thought I would have done 7 days worth of vlogging behind me now. I'm not a vlogger, but just trying it out to play with it, see how fun it is, see how easy it is. And today's vlog is brought to you by the color yellow, just like Big Bird and Sesame Street. So today's topic is, and I'm going with one of the recommended topics for today, or the recommended topic for today, which is the most adventurous thing that you have done. I've done a lot of things that you would probably consider adventurous. I have done some mountain climbing and rappelling, and that's both in a class, with an instructor off of a little tower or whatever that's 20 or 30 foot tall, as well as on the side of a mountain. And I've even done it without a class, on my own, by myself. I've bought my own stuff and gone out and done it. Now this was back in the 90s, but so it's been a little while. But I've tied my own knots and done it, and trusted my own life hanging 200 foot in the air over a cliff. So that's pretty adventurous. I've done the motorcycling thing. I've got a private pilot's license and used to own some airplanes different times in the past, and so I've soloed and flown an airplane, navigated an airplane over a couple of states by myself. So that's pretty adventurous as well. But that's kind of common stuff. You probably know people who've done rappelling and flown airplanes. There's tens of thousands of pilots out there. So what I'm going to go with is actually running, which doesn't sound that adventurous, but it's the type of running that I have done. So I've done the 5Ks. I was a big fat joker a few years ago when I decided that I wanted to run a marathon, and it's what actually got my tail up off the couch and got me into running back when I was turning 40 a few years ago. And I've done the 5Ks and the 10Ks and worked myself up to a marathon. Have done a couple of marathons and half marathons. And Amy, if you happen to be watching this, I know you're training for a half marathon. Nice job. But in the last year, I've gotten into something called ultra marathon running, which is anything beyond a marathon. Technically, that's 26.3 miles would be an ultra marathon, but you're not going to find anybody hosting a 26.3 mile race unless it's for fun or something like that. The standard starting distance for an ultra marathon, though, is a 50K, which is 31 miles. So it's only 5 miles further, but to some people, that's forever. But that's really what got me started in it. Was, to me, there's so many people that are doing marathons these days. 10 years ago, it wasn't that popular. Everybody thought that, 26 miles, a million miles, roughly about the same thing. And today, that's not the thought anymore. And I know it still seems like a far distance, but it's not. There's many people. Running's a growing thing right now, so there's tons of people that are running their first marathons. And especially women. And again, I don't mean to talk down to women. There's tons of women, and I get my butt handed to me by girls every time. It's called getting chicked. If you've never heard that term, that's what we guys call it, getting chicked. I get chicked in every race, so not a big deal there. But in an ultra marathon, you're running over 26 miles. I've done a couple of 50Ks, but the one that I'm going to consider the adventurous thing is I did a 24-hour race a few months ago. So I literally ran starting at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it didn't end until 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Ran for a whole day. I ran 85 miles, which was the minimum what you had to do to be considered done. So instead of a distance race of 26 miles or 10 miles or 50 miles, it was a time, but you had to go at least a certain distance. You couldn't just run a mile and stop and brag. So the minimum required distance was 85 miles, and I did that. Got a medal, pretty cool medal, a metal medal. I don't know if you can see that since it's hollow see-through, but it's the Delirium Ultra 24-hour endurance race. You could have done the 6 or 12-hour version, but how can you be a badass when other people are running 24 and you're running 6 and stopping? So I ran 24 hours. The reason I'm going with that is because I doubt you know anybody that's done that before. It's just not that common of a thing, and ultramarathoning is growing, but it's growing in the lower end in the 50K range. But again, I just don't think you're going to find many people who have ever run for 24 hours straight. And I'm looking to do more of it. And I'm training for other races in the future, other 50Ks. I have one coming up here in a few months. But the cool thing about ultras that really is like the crowning moment is if you can do 100 miles in 24 hours, you get a buckle. And so most races will have a buckle, kind of like the medal is designed with their logo on it. They'll have a buckle design, and there's usually only a handful of people that actually make it in each one. So I hope to do that in the future and earn my buckle, kind of like a rodeo buckle. So it's an ultra marathoning buckle. But that's what I'm hoping to do in the future. But that's what I'm going with as most adventurous thing I've done, definitely in quite some time. It's not the hanging off of a cliff or jumping out of an airplane with my hair on fire kind of a thing. But I'm going with most adventurous because it's definitely adrenaline pumping, and it's something that just very few people have ever done. And that's my topic of the day. So check back tomorrow, and I can't remember what it is, so check back in and see what we're talking about tomorrow. Bye.